So in lesson 2, we learn a new series of initials of Chinese language. So let's make a review of the initials we learned. Okay, let's read together. The first line, always say the first group. 知, 吃, 诗, 日. Okay, the second group. 资, 资, 思. Okay, so in each group, like there are a minimum pair, like 知 and 吃, 资 and 资. So the difference between 知 and 吃, 资 and 资 is the second one. 吃 and 资, they are aspirated. So as I said in last class, so you can feel your breath, or we say air, coming out through your mouth. So it's aspirated initials. Okay, and 知 and 资 are not aspirated. So there's not strong breath or air coming out through our mouth when we read these initials. So you can feel it by yourself. Again, 知, 吃, 资, 吃. Okay, and the difference between these two groups, 知 and 资, so we say we use different part of our mouth to make a block when we pronounce these initials. So for this one, 知, 吃, so we use the tip of the tongue to block the back part of our mouth to make a block. Okay, and this 资, 吃, we use the tip of the tongue to block the front part of the mouth to make a block. Okay, so in phonetics we say 资 and 吃 is like front dental initials. 知 and 吃 are back dental initials. Okay, so let's read again. 知, 吃, 诗, 日. Okay, so 诗 and 日, 诗 there's not like block when we read this initial. So there's like a small gap, always leave a small gap, and then you can leave the breath out of the mouth. So like a 诗, and 日 is voiced. So 诗 is like voiceless, and 日 is voiced. So 诗, 日. Okay, and this one similarly. 思, when we pronounce 思, there's no block in the mouth. So we leave a small gap to let the breath out of the mouth. So like 思. Okay, so 资, 吃, there's like a block. And 思, there's no block. Okay, so these are the initials. These are the initials we learned in last lesson. And let's make a quick review of the finals. So the finals of lesson 2, like is all begin with a final U we learned in lesson 1. Okay, so we make like small combinations or small spellings. Okay, so let's read together. The first line, 哇, 窝, 歪, 微, and 弯, 温, 汪, 翁. And pay attention in writing system. We write way in this way. So we omitted this letter E in between. Okay, just write U and I. So way. And this one, similarly, so we omitted this letter E in between. So we only write U and N for wen. Okay, so this is writing rules. And there's more writing rules later we are going to make a review. Before that, there's like a neutral tone. It's a new knowledge of the tones. So we learn besides the 4 tones, like there are still like a kind of change of the 4 tones. Okay, so we say this neutral tone is like a variant of the 4 tones in speech. Like when we like speak in language practice, so there's a kind of change in our speech of the 4 tones. So we call this kind of like a neutral tone. But neutral tone is not a 5th kind of tone. Okay, so it's only a variant of the 4 tones in speech. And neutral tone is always pronounced lightly and briefly without any stress. And in Pinyin, like we indicate this neutral tone in this way without like give any mark of the tones. So it's kind of like there's an absence of any tone mark above this syllable, and we know this is a neutral tone. Okay, let's read these neutral tones. 妈妈，白的， 好了，爸爸 OK read again 妈妈白的好了，爸爸 So all the second syllable in each like word is a neutral tone. Okay, so all the second one like 妈妈妈妈白的白的好了好了爸爸爸爸 So you can feel how to read each a neutral tone after different tones, like after the first tone, second tone, third tone, and the fourth tone. Okay, so we know besides the four tones, there's still a kind of a change of the four tones. We call it like 轻声. It's a variant of the four tones in speech. Okay, and we learn a new writing rules or spelling rules of Pinyin. So we learn this is concerned with the finals we learned in lesson 2. So all the finals begin with U. When there's non-initial plus these finals, so we change the letter U to W. And in writing system, we write in this way. So W and A, right? So it's pronounced like wa, wo, wai, wei, wan, wang, wen, wong. Okay, so this W in these writing ways, this W is not like just a mark. This W actually is like this U. Okay, so this W is like it stands for an initial. Okay, so this W is not only a mark, a writing symbol. This W stands for the letter U actually, and it means the initial U. Okay, so please pay attention to this too. Okay, so these are the pronunciation knowledge we learned in last lesson. Okay, and now let's make a practice exercise. So the first one, please listen and discriminate the tones of each pair. Okay, so I will read just one syllable in each pair. So please listen carefully and discriminate the tones and choose the one you hear in each pair. For example, there are two syllables with the third tone and the fourth tone, and I will read only one, maybe the third tone or the fourth tone, and you choose the one you hear. Okay, so this is the exercise 1. Okay, let's begin. Please listen carefully and circle the one you hear. 我入没吃 Okay, the second line. So I'll steal each one. I'll read 2 times. Okay, the second line. 奏国汉知 the third line. 时翠伞上 Okay, the last line. 忍思雷踏 Okay, now please check the answers. Okay, please check the answers. So the one right in red color is the syllable I just read. Okay, so please check whether you get the correct answer. And now we'll read all again to make comparison of like in each pair there are different tones, right? So like make a comparison and read all the syllables. Okay, the first line. 我入美吃奏过 汉、寒、之、直、时、是、催、翠、三、散、上、商、忍、人、呲、刺、累、雷、他、踏。Okay, so please remember all the 4 tones of the Chinese language. And there are about each tone, there's kind of like key word, or we say a key description of each tone. So for the first tone, for example, like this one, zhi, shi. So the first tone, you remember, it is very high and flight. It's the highest tone of the 4 tones. Okay, so this is the key word, a key description. So your rate is very high and flight. So zhi, shi. Okay, for the second tone, for example, shi, like shi, this one, shi, or this one, wo. So the beginning point of the second tone is lower than the first tone. Okay, so we read like a zhi, shi, zhi. So when you read the second tone, like make the beginning part a little bit lower than the first tone. This one is like a zhi, so like make it lower, zhi, and zhi, zhi. Okay, make it lower, and then suddenly make it upcoming, like shi. Okay, so shi. So you remember second tone is like an upcoming tone. Okay, so the beginning point of the second tone is lower than the first tone. So make it lower down, and then suddenly make it up. Okay, like a shi, shi. And the third tone, the key word is the lowest tone, like this one, ren, ren. So in fact, like at the lowest point of the third tone, this is like a turning point. So first don't make it down, ren, and then the second part of the third tone is an upcoming tone, but it's a very like slight and very brief upcoming. Okay, but and also the most important part for a third tone is the first half. Okay, so make it down, and make your throat a little bit uncomfortable when you pronounce the third tone, and you got it. Okay, so ren, and this one san. Okay, and for the fourth tone, like a zhou, cui, ru. Okay, so this is like a lower down, a suddenly low tone. Make it suddenly coming down. Okay, so the beginning point of the fourth tone is as high as the first tone, like this one, chi, zhi, and this one, zhou. So it's like a zhou. The first tone is zhou, and zhou. The beginning point is similar. It's same as the first tone, and suddenly make it down, suddenly to make it come down. So like shi, shi. Okay, so these are the key words for the 4 tones. And again, let us make another exercise of the tones. And this one is listen, and add the tone marks for each syllable. Okay, and this is not choose the one you hear. This one is more challenging. Okay, I will read a syllable with a certain tone, and you write down which tone I read. Okay, so from the first line, please listen carefully. Each syllable I'll read 2 times. Okay, so the first line, cha, cha,凑, shi, zu. Okay, let's check the answer. I read again. cha, 凑, shi, zu. Okay, now focus on the second line. Okay, this one. Please listen carefully and add tone marks. 找, 孙, 采, 造. Okay, please check the answers. Okay, the third line, this line. Okay, let's begin. 子, 子长长琛琛扔扔 Okay, let's check the answers. Okay, let's check the answers. Whether you write down the correct tones. Okay. Okay, let's move to the fourth line. Okay, focus on the fourth line. Listen carefully and add tone marks for each syllable. Okay, let's begin. 锤锤声声转转寸寸 Okay, check the answers, please. Okay, the last line. 上上热热虽虽手手 Okay, these are the answers. Please check by yourself and try to exercise reading all these syllables by yourself, please.